Well, good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Richard Cruz, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Sergeant Jack Kriljack. Tomorrow marks the 50th anniversary of the disappearance of the Royal Australian Air Force No. 2 Squadron Canberra bomber, call sign Magpie 91, during the Vietnam War. 2 Royal Australian Air Force personnel were killed in this incident: Flying Officer Michael Herbert and Flying Officer Robert Charles Carver. This evening, we warmly welcome the family of Private Officer Robert Charles Carver, whose story will be told shortly. We are honoured to welcome 2 Squadron Commanding Officer, Wing Commander Jason Brown, and the accompanying 2 Squadron Royal Australian Air Force contingent, who are attending this evening to commemorate the loss of Magpie 91. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you're able, I invite you all to please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. If you're able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths and floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Pilot Officer Robert Charles Carver. Robert Carver, known as Bob, was born on the 2nd of July, 1946, in Townsville, Queensland, the second of Sydney and Edna Carver's two sons. He attended Harristown State High School, where he had an excellent academic record and was an active participant in the school's extracurricular activities. He was a member of the first 11 cricket side and the school's tennis team. He also served in the school's Army Cadet Unit, and in 1963, he was the Senior Cadet Under Officer. The same year, he was also a school prefect. Outside school, he was a member of the Toowoomba Pistol and Tennis Club, and he also enjoyed weightlifting and golf. After graduating in 1963, Carver began a traineeship as a radiographer the following year. By 1968, he qualified and was working at the Royal Brisbane Hospital. But his heart was not in it. Seeking greater challenges, Carver tried unsuccessfully to join the Australian Army as a pilot in April 1968. Soon after, he submitted an application to the Royal Australian Air Force. He was found unsuitable for pilot training in July, but was offered the opportunity to train as a navigator, which he accepted. During his application process, Carver's former school principal provided a glowing character reference, saying that he has a warm, friendly personality and is morally sound. Carver joined the Royal Australian Air Force on the 13th of January 1969, becoming a member of number 37 Navigator course located at East Sale in Victoria. He graduated on the 23rd of January 1970 and was commissioned with the rank of Pilot Officer. In his end of course report, Carver's chief instructor described him as having a significant personality and could be described as a born leader. He has proved himself to be a reliable person with a mature outlook on life. Carver is an excellent crew member and is extremely likeable. The report concluded, Carver should make an excellent officer as well as an above-average navigator. His next posting was to number 33 Bomber Operational Conversion course at number 1 Operational Training Unit at Amberley, Queensland. Carver successfully completed the course in August and was posted to number 2 Squadron, Royal Australian Air Force, which was based at Phan Rang in South Vietnam. He took his final leave at the beginning of September and then flew out from Sydney on the 16th. After arriving at Phan Rang, Carver was soon on operations. On the 3rd of November, Carver was tasked to be the navigator on a routine sortie to bomb a North Vietnam Army unit located in Quang Nang Province near the Laos border. By this stage, Carver had completed 33 operational sorties and had made a positive impression with his superiors and colleagues. The pilot was Flying Officer Michael Herbert, a seasoned veteran with 198 completed operational sorties over a 9-month period. The aircraft, Canberra bomber A84-231, call sign Magpie 91, took off from Phan Rang at 7 p.m, loaded with 6 750-pound bombs, and flew towards Da Nang. Herbert reported that the sortie should be no problem. It's pretty good up there tonight. Just after 8 p.m, as Magpie 91 near Da Nang, the local United States radar control officer advised Herbert to ascend to 22,000 feet, placing the aircraft out of enemy anti-aircraft range. Bombs were released over the target at 8:22 p.m, and Herbert radioed 6 away, breaking left. The radar controller radioed Magpie 91, stating, "That was an excellent run, sir. It looked really good down here, and we enjoyed working with you, and see you another day." Herbert acknowledged the transmission, and just over a minute later, Magpie 91 disappeared from the United States radar screens. Despite 3 days of intensive air searches by Australian and United States aircraft, no trace of the missing Canberra bomber or its crew could be found. The steep hills and thick vegetation defeated all attempts at location. Both Carver and Herbert were declared missing. When the last of Australia's forces withdrew from Vietnam in 1972, 6 men remained missing in action. Private Peter Gilson and Lance Corporal Richard Parker, both from No. 1 Royal Australian Regiment, Lance Corporal John Gillespie, an Army medic, Private David Fisher from the Special Air Services, and Bob Carver and Michael Herbert. For their family, it was the start of more than 30 years of not knowing. In 1982, 3 hunters from the Katu people of the mountains located near the crash site and removed wire from their snares. As they spoke little Vietnamese and could not read or write, their discovery went unreported. An Australian government mission to Vietnam in 1984 failed to find any trace of the missing Australians, and it was not until 2007 that an effort to locate their remains were renewed. The late Jim Burke, who'd served in Vietnam with the 1st Battalion Royal Australian Regiment, was instrumental in forming a veterans organisation, Operation Aussie Home. It was his drive and determination, backed by the Australian Army History Unit and other defence resources, that would eventually bring all 6 missing men home. In April 2007, Parker and Gilson were located, followed by Gillespie that November. Fisher was located in September 2008, leaving only Carver and Herbert to be found. Burke provided a detailed report to the Royal Australian Air Force detailing the location of Carver and Herbert. In April 2009, a combined Army and Royal Australian Air Force team went to Quang Nang Province to locate the Canberra bomber and its crew. With a stroke of luck, the 3 hunters who had discovered the wrecked Canberra bomber in 1982 were still alive. The information they provided enabled a mixed group of Vietnamese and Australians to travel to the wreck of Magpie 91. The crash site was located in jungle on a remote hillside in the Quang Nang province. And Herbert were located. At St Luke's Cathedral in Toowoomba on the 2nd of September. At the end of the ceremony, the last post was played, followed by a flyover by an This is but one of the many stories of courage and sacrifice told here.
They shall go not old, we that are left grow old. Age shall weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes this evening's last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.